All right, let's get right into it. If you're serious about taking your Python skills from a hobby to a full-blown career, then you have landed in the perfect spot. Today, we are going to break down the exact steps you need to build a professional Python development setup. This is the stuff that gets you hired. So first things first, you got to ask yourself this question. Is the way I'm setting up Python right now actually helping me, or is it hurting my chances of getting a job? Believe it or not, the way you manage your code is one of the biggest signals that separates a casual coder from a pro. And just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the hobby setup. It's kind of chaotic, right? Packages installed everywhere, messy folders, no way to go back in time, and things just break. Now look at the right. That's the professional world. Everything is clean, isolated, tracked with Git, and most importantly, it's stable. It just works. This is what companies expect to see. So let's really dig into why this matters so much. This isn't just about being neat and tidy. Getting this right from the very beginning, well, it's pretty much not negotiable if you want to build a real career on this. You know, I think we've all been here. You install a cool new library for one project, and all of a sudden, an old project completely stops working. Why? Because you installed everything in one big global bucket. It's a complete nightmare of conflicting versions, and it is so frustrating. But when you switch to a professional setup, you're doing way more than just avoiding those headaches. You're actually learning the fundamental skill that you need for the coolest jobs out there. You want to get into automation, DevOps, AI, web development? The structured way of working is how all of those teams operate. Okay, enough about the why. Let's get our hands dirty with the how. We are going to build your professional toolkit from the ground up, starting with the absolute must-haves. First things first, Python itself. Just head over to python.org, grab the latest stable version. Now listen up, because this is super important if you're on Windows. During the install, you have got to check the box that says Add Python to Path. Seriously, don't miss it. Make sure pip and venv are enabled too. Once that's done, just open up your terminal, type python-version, and you should see it pop right up. All right, next up, your code editor. We're going with VS Code, Visual Studio Code. And the reason is simple. It's what the pros use. It's free, it's fast, and it's got this massive community building incredible extensions that let you do basically anything. And speaking of extensions, these three are your day one installs. The main Python extension from Microsoft is a must. Pylance gives you that awesome autocomplete and squiggly red lines when you mess up. And GitLens, oh man, GitLens is like having superpowers for seeing your project's history. Just get them. Okay, our last core tool is Git. And let me be perfectly clear about this. Git is not optional. It's not a nice to have. It's how modern software is built. It's for version control, for working with a team, and, this is huge, it's how you build a portfolio on GitHub that recruiters will actually go and look at. All right, I need you to pause for a second and really focus, because we have arrived at the single most critical concept in this entire explainer. It's all about the virtual environment. If you only remember one thing from our time together, please make it this. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Skipping virtual environments is basically putting up a big sign that says, I'm a beginner. It's a guaranteed way to cause yourself problems, and knowing how to use them is a clear signal that you're taking this seriously. So what on earth is a virtual environment? Well, think of it like a clean, self-contained bubble for every single project you work on. It's like having a separate workshop for each project. Inside that bubble, you can install whatever you want, whatever version you need, and it will never mess with any of your other projects. It's the ultimate solution to that dependency nightmare we talked about. And creating one is super easy. You just go into your project folder in the terminal, run one command to create the bubble, and a second command to activate it, which is basically like stepping inside the bubble. You'll know it worked because your terminal prompt will actually change to show you which environment you're in. So with all the tools set up, what does the actual day-to-day workflow look like? Because a pro doesn't just have the right tools, they have a process that's structured and something they can repeat every single time. And that whole process really centers around pip, which is Python's package manager. When you're inside that virtual environment bubble, you just use pip install to add any libraries you need. And the key thing to remember is that those libraries are being installed inside that specific project's bubble, not all over your computer. Now, here's the real pro move. Once you've installed a few things, you run this one little command, pip freeze greater than requirements.txt. What this does is it creates a shopping list, a text file that lists every single package and its exact version for your project. Think of it like a recipe. Anyone, including your future self, can use that file to perfectly recreate your setup. And this all fits together into a nice, clean project structure like this. You see, a real project isn't just one Python file. It's a whole organized folder. You've got your virtual environment, a folder for your source code, another for your tests, that requirements file we just made. It makes your project easy for anyone to understand and work on.
So to hammer it home, here are the traps we're going to avoid from now on. We're done installing packages globally. We are always using virtual environments. We're using Git from day one. Oh, and a big one, never, ever paste passwords or API keys directly in your code. And finally, we're building real projects in our code editor, not just typing in the little interactive prompt.
Okay, that brings us to the final part, our checklist. This is that moment of truth. When you can look at this list and honestly check off every single box, you'll know for sure that you are set up to code like a pro. Let's run through it. Is Python installed and verified? Check. Is pip working? Check. Is VS Code set up with those key extensions? You bet. Got Git installed? Yep. Do you know how to create and activate a virtual environment for every new project? Of course. And the final boss, have you pushed your first project to GitHub? When that's a check, you've officially made it. And I want you to remember this. What you've just done is so much more than just installing some software. You're not just writing little scripts anymore. You are deliberately building the professional foundation that can support your entire career from here on out. This whole setup, this is your launch pad. With this solid foundation under your feet, you are now in the perfect position to dive into the really fun stuff, the core of the language itself. Things like variables, functions, and all that good stuff. The real journey is just getting started. So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Your workshop is clean, your tools are all laid out, your foundation is rock solid. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?